Good morning and welcome back to the garden. We're going to be doing a garden tour. I'm going to be pulling some things out. I did realize that I recorded a garden tour video on May 30th or 31st, and I don't think I ever posted it. So I will pop in some of the pictures of from that as I'm talking right now. And then I'm also going to pop in some pictures of some of the things we've harvested. Since that time, we have been starting to deal with a few different issues with some of the plants. And so today we're going to take the measures that we need to take to make sure that they're okay. So I'll show you what's going on. We do have some, it looks like powdery mildew starting on some of my calendula. I have some spider mites that are going crazy. So I think I got a plant from one of the nurseries that had spider mites, and then I live in an apartment and we have the leaf blowers that come by, and I think that just has contributed to it spreading. So some of the plants I'm just going to cut my losses and get rid of, and then other plants we will try to go ahead and save. I did take cuttings of like some of my mints to try to reroot and try to make sure those don't have spider mites. Doesn't look like they do, but it's really hard with spider mites to tell. We'll probably give the plants some fish fertilizer. I'm going to rip out some plants that are like at their end, and talk to you guys kind of about what's coming next. So um, as you can tell from the pictures that are popping up right now, we are in a small space. If you're new here, we're in zone 9B in Northern California. We do live in an apartment. We are allowed to have 3 planters outside, and so I have 2 green stalks and one of the plastic wine barrels. And I use the green stalks for just about everything, and then the wine barrels are primarily for tomatoes in the summer. So you're gonna see green beans, peppers, squash, herbs, flowers, all kinds of stuff going through here. I did have to tear out my eggplant already. That was one of the ones that was really bad. So while we're doing this, I'm keeping in mind kind of what's going to be happening next year. So we have really hot summers. We get up to like 114. Oddly enough, I don't know what the deal is. Like yesterday, the last 2 days, we were in the 70s here, and that's a very rare. So, I do most of my gardening out here in the mornings, and then because I'm in the green stalks, when it gets that hot, I do water midday. And we have gotten though tons of green beans. I'm constantly picking green beans off of these plants, snacking on them continuously. They're so good. We planted dragon tongue and tongues of fire, both bush beans. And then I will say though, I think the dragon tongue likes to try to come out more. Um, a few years ago when I planted dragon tongue, and the gardening soil that we bought was not the greatest, and I didn't realize it at the time. And so I think that's why like my plants never got super huge. They produced green beans, but they were never huge. Well, they're like really big in here, so I'm always having to, because the green stalks are so close together because of our limited space here, it has been interesting for growing things and turning the planters. So there's been some fails. I mean, it's an experimenting year for me on this, and there's been some really good things. So um, there we have been harvesting calendula like crazy. I have 2 different containers of calendula going in avocado oil right now, and we're going to be making salve with that, or salve. And one of them, we are going to a lavender farm on Friday, and my daughter and I are each going to go. It's a you pick lavender farm, so we're each going to get 1 bunch of lavender. And then with mine, I'm planning on drying that and then adding it to the calendula salve, so that way I can have that calming good skin um, essence from the lavender mixed in with the calendula, and I think that'll be good. So I got a ton of stuff out of the calendula while it was going, and then I'll just pick up on that this fall. I'm thinking about replanting that. Okay, so before we jump in to the actual garden tour, as I'm doing this, I create a map. I spilled coffee on it. I create a map for my towers and kind of what I'm planting where for what seasons. And I'm going to end up, I've decided, watching the size of some of these things and how they're doing, that I'm going to end up changing this plan a little bit for fall. But this helps me keep in mind kind of what comes next, where I'm going to plant stuff, what stuff has to come out first in the fall, and then if I can do something short between now and then in the heat, that would be great. And so that's what I'm kind of looking at on here. And then I do my towers differently. So you will, when you buy GreenStalk towers, you can get a 5-tier, they're the larger pockets of there's 5 large pocket containers. And then there's the leaf one, which has like 7 of the smaller tiers. And so those are better for leafy greens because there's not as much root growth in there. And so what I did is I combined mine, and I have, from top to bottom, I have 2 small, 3 large, and then the bottom is 1 small again. So when I'm making my list, I keep in mind of the root size that it needs and all of that. I'm going to go a little bit out of that this winter and just experiment again and see what we can do. And this is your friendly reminder, if you have not ordered your fall seeds, order them. We just got ours in, so I'm super excited about this. I needed some more fall things for our container, and so I got a green Brussels sprout, I got a red Brussels sprout for fall. I did get cabbage and a lettuce. I got some new nasturtiums because these are doubled up nasturtiums, and I love the flowers and they're pretty. I got some more radishes. I did, just to have on hand, some quinoa. I've never grown that, so we'll see. It looks really pretty. And then I'm really excited about these. I'm gonna grow these inside. I got these for free. They're the little tiny little bok choys. Look how cute they are. So I got another carrot for free too. So if you haven't gotten your fall seeds, go and grab those before you actually need them, and that way you get what's in stock. A lot of places are starting to have sales on different seeds because the seeds are more packed for the year. The seeds are good for way more than a year though, so don't throw your old seeds out. Okay, so you've seen some of the clips as I've been talking of kind of what the garden looked like before, some of the harvests we've been getting. I did get jalapenos. I think I popped pictures in of that. Most of the tomatoes I've been harvesting are the ones inside, and I'll pop in really fast the tour of that from last time, and then we will go ahead and move into showing you what's kind of going on out here right now, and some of the challenges we've had, and that way you can know that for when you're growing in a container like this, and then some of our successes. So over here is our indoor setup, and I only have the 1 grow light still set up, but it's doing its thing. So I've got some microgreens. I did harvest a ton of the cilantro out of here because I felt like it was, I've had issues even with microgreen cilantro for some reason. It's very finicky. So I harvested a bunch of that and put it in some salt to make a cilantro herb salt. But I'm starting to get true leaves on here, and I'm getting some good basil growth. I've got a lettuce leaf basil back there, a regular basil. This is the Tiny Tim red tomato. And you can see it's starting to change. Let's see, starting to change color right there. So there are tomatoes all throughout here. These have been very heavy laden. These are the orange hat tomatoes. So these have been super heavy with tomatoes for quite a while. So as soon as they started showing signs of changing color. I've been pulling them off to give the plant strength to focus on new ones. Over here I have some cut and come again lettuce growing. It's getting pretty big. Down here, I believe these were turnips. I don't know. I planted something else here and something else in this one too. So we will see. That's the indoor garden setup. These are the tomatoes that I have picked off of here so far. I've been picking them off pretty early and just letting them ripen the rest of the way. As you can tell, this is a ton of tomatoes for these little tiny plants, which they do really good, but I figured I'd give them a break. I've only eaten one of them so far, as letting them let them get super ripe, and then we'll be able to add them to salads and snack on them and stuff. So super excited about how productive these have been and learning how to grow indoors as well, because lettuce doesn't do good throughout the summer. Tomatoes don't do good throughout the winter. Cilantro doesn't do good throughout the summer. Basil doesn't do good throughout the winter. So trying to figure out how to maximize my crop where I am. Okay, so first we'll do kind of a wide out shot and let you kind of see how tall those tomatoes are already. That is over 8 feet. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start here. This is the black strawberry tomato. This thing has had these tomatoes on it for quite some time. They're just not ripening yet. I'm starting to see some color on that big one, so we will see. This plant has definitely gone through the ringer over here. The landscapers came and trimmed trees and the branches fell on the tomatoes, so it broke off like huge chunks. Luckily where my tomatoes are didn't break off, but this plant definitely got some damage from that. And just this week I am starting to see some aphid damage in here. I'm really hoping no spider mites, but we definitely are getting some aphid damage. So I'll be coming through this, and I'm actually this morning going to spray down as much as I can of the under part of these leaves and knock down what I can. Back here, I have, let's see if I can show you down here, this tiny Tim. I'm going to be pulling out that plant and just letting that one grow. It's not doing good back there. It was a last minute add-in. And in all honesty, that plant's not doing that great inside either. It's not my favorite micro tomato plant, so I probably won't be growing that again. Next to these, I have the Berries Crazy Cherry. Let's see if we can get you in there. And there are definitely a lot of cherry tomatoes coming on. So this plant, when the tree people came, it actually got topped. So what happens when it gets topped, here you go. So this one actually got topped, and so now it's going to put all the energy into what's already growing here. And then luckily it was right above, that's right above the branch of tomatoes. So hopefully this thing can withstand the tomatoes. What I did though was I let a sucker grow, and that sucker is now taller than my original tomato plant was. So I'm still gonna get cherry tomatoes off of this. I am gonna be topping the black strawberry and tie that top up to the very tip of that, which I'll need my husband's help with. And then I will be topping that, getting ready for, I'm gonna try to put a slicer in for the end of this year. And then down here, I do have marigold growing in there. It's doing okay. And then my Thai basil, and that Thai basil Has had some pest stuff, but in all honesty, in this heat, it's been doing great, and I have been harvesting that and dehydrating it. Okay, so now we are over to our towers. Let me adjust this really fast. So we're starting to get some blooms on the hyssops and the agastaches. This is a hyssop. I've been pruning and dehydrating this like crazy. Look at these little flowers about to pop out. Aren't they so pretty? See if it'll focus on it. The wind's not making this easy. Oh, this one. These smell so good. So all of these overall are doing really well. This hyssop I have harvested a ton from. I am seeing some damage that I need to look up and see what the brown on just the edges means. So I'll be doing that today, researching that. I need to trim the bottoms. So I think part of what happens, and you'll see over here, but I'm pretty sure what's happening is when I'm watering up here, if I turn away and not paying attention, it'll go over the edge. Like the pressure from the hose will go in and go over the edge on the other side closest to the window. So I think when that happens, this is getting a ton of water damage, which is inviting pests and disease. And then these are all in the same soil, and they've been in the same soil. And this particular one has suffered from this leaf curl stuff for the entire time. The other ones don't have it, but this one has. This is the rose mint agastache. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but it's starting to produce flowers, so I'm just going with it. I will be continually harvesting these. I have been harvesting some of them, but the flowers, I'm trying to let them go to flower, not to seed, and then I'll harvest them with the flowers on it, because these are what I'm drying for tea. So I've been super, super happy with that. And then underneath that, we have a row that has, this is where all those basils were, and I struggle bus with the basils. They were getting the pincher bug, the earwigs, that's what they're called, earwigs, damage up here. So I went ahead and replaced them with the strawberries I got for Mother's Day, some marigolds. There's some more strawberries. We've gotten quite a few strawberries out of this. So that's what's right above my beans. And then here are my beans. You can see that they're starting to get some damage. When I'm twirling them, sometimes they'll hit and kind of break off. So I'm just picking those leaves off. I did have to try to tie them up to try to help them from dragging so much. Let's see if we could show you some beans. I came through here and harvested yesterday. I should have waited for today for the video. Let's twirl this around. So there's some baby beans. There's some baby beans in there. These are the dragon tongues, super pretty. This is what I do every morning, is come out here and just lift this up and look for beans. So when I tied it up, I did tie up the pepper plants that were underneath because they were hitting and dragging. So I do have a shishito right there. See, this one would be the, I think this one's the tongues of fire beans over here. I'm not seeing any. Oh, there we go. I'll pull these guys off. These are tongues of fire. This side is the side I did not harvest. I'll let those go a little bit more. You can see there's still tons of beans in here. But I am going to pull these plants out. I'm starting to get damage from them being hit on the other container and dragging on those plants. And so I will be pulling these plants out and replanting, getting a second round in. Oh, there's a nice wide one. So I just come out here every day and I harvest what I can off of here, and I throw them in a little bowl of water in the fridge, and then I start eating them. And I just snack on these continuously, and I absolutely love them. So the bottom half of this planter has been hit and miss. We've got the peppers that are just starting to come in. So that has the, oh, this had a pepper on it, I think. What pepper is this? That pepper is really hiding in there. That's a bell pepper. We've got the shishito in here, which you saw. I haven't actually harvested any of that one yet. This particular one is the jalapeno. We have harvested the Greg's jalapeno. We have more flowers setting on that. You can see they're popping out up here. So the peppers in the planters really do need a support. In years past, I put a wood stake in it and then tied the stakes to the container. And I wish I would have done that this year. I still may try to do something along those lines because it is hitting the wall and hitting the other planter, and we don't want that. I have lost some of my stuff that I've planted down towards the bottom. I have some more Thai basil, more strawberry, and I think those are some radishes trying to grow. And then over here, this is the calendula up here, and these things have been pumping. You can see the tops of where I've cut all these flowers off. Like there's tons and tons and tons that are gone. But I'm starting to see, and I don't think it's on this side, the powdery mildew on the actual stems. And then these are getting really diseased, and there's a lot of now poop in here, it looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my losses with this, and I'll take the few buds that are up here right now and I'll put them in a vase to try to get them to open up, and then I'll trim those and dehydrate them and then utilize those for soap or salve. And then this calendula is going to go. And in the future, I think I'm not going to grow calendula on the top again. I think what I'll do is put it closer to the bottom, because I do really believe that the water hitting it on the top is what's causing the powdery mildew in the middle on the stems, because it's not at the top and it's not even totally at the bottom. It's kind of at the watering edge. So I have a feeling that's what it is. But it's a live and learn. We got a ton of stuff off of this. I'm super excited about it. But those calendula will be going. I think what I'm going to try to do is, this is a zucchini, and I did not allot for how big this was going to get in here, and I have trimmed some of the leaves off. But I think that the best bet is going to be to do every other container up here with zucchini. That way it has the top, it doesn't have to battle with this bush, and then it can hit the flowers a little bit over here. And in between those, do something else, whether it be try to do something that doesn't mind being shaded by the zucchini. So we'll try that out. I haven't completely decided what I'm going to do there. It might be a lettuce, it might be an herb, we'll see. But I do want to keep in mind the watering thing, and I'm trying to be better about not spilling that over. We do have this pepper from Green Acres that's doing good. This is a candy cane sweet pepper. I did just pull out the nasturtium. It finally bit the dust, so I'll probably replant some nasturtium. And then my strawberry is doing good. It's still producing. Let's see. Let's turn this. Over here we got parsley. This started to get some damage. I think it was getting too hot. So I went through and I harvested a bunch of that off of there, and I've been dehydrating it. Chamomile in this planter I don't think is the best. So chamomile I don't think is the best. I think it needs to be staked up. It's falling all over the place. I've gotten one little harvest, but if you look, like, this is not great for a planter like this. So we'll see. I think I'm going to try to stake it. There's no room up here to tie it up really. So I've got to figure this situation out. Over here we have got the sweet potatoes. This is the only sweet potatoes that survived. The other one did not. And they're doing great. Tons of new growth on here. The one thing that is not going well is the mint. And I'm going to take this. Look, I have baby zucchinis. That's a female flower. That means it has the little zucchini. This is a male flower. It has nose squash. So the mint is not doing good at all. I'm pretty sure I've got spider mites, which I didn't think spider mites were going to attack the mint. But you can see all the damage in here. I keep harvesting and trying to get the new stuff off. But even the new stuff now, like, has lots of damage all over the tops. So I'm pretty sure that the lemon balm needs to go. I wasn't sure if that's what it was for sure on the lemon balm, but I just pulled out my eggplant. I'm like 1000% sure that's what it was on the eggplant. I actually saw the spider mites on that. So we'll see. I am concerned about some of these other things like this. Yeah. So if we come in close right here, this does have spider mites. So there's a thin webbing. I don't know if you could see it on the camera or not, but there is a thin webbing. You can't even really see the mites. This is crispy. So unfortunately, this guy's gonna have to go. And then maybe I'll try again. But this cucumber was only supposed to get 3 feet long, and it's supposed to produce squash even if it doesn't get, like, it doesn't need pollination. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to pull it out though, so maybe I'll try a new one. I've got chives. My pineapple mint's pretty much toast. My thyme's been really attacked. My strawberries are not. Oh, I got a good pest down there. I wonder if my praying mantis egg sac finally hatched. I got a little praying mantis down here. Let's see if you can see it. It's crawling around right there. So we're gonna pull out a bunch of these herbs down here because I don't want to risk the rest of the plants. This planter is gonna start over big time. I'll leave some of the stuff in here. The pepper's still doing good. Most of the mint's gonna go. The calendula is gonna go, and we will figure out what we can do there. So there you have it, the good, the bad, and the ugly of my garden this year. So we are gonna have tons of tomatoes. We should have a ton of peppers. I don't know if I'll have enough peppers to make hot sauce, but we'll see as we get later into the season. The green beans have been amazing, and they do great in the GreenStalk. They would have done even better if I didn't have my GreenStalk so close together. The swivel bases on these are game changer. That's amazing. And then the peppers, like, I should get a good harvest, I think. The flowers have done great and I got a ton of production, but I have to be careful when I'm watering because I'm not in full sun all day long. I think that they don't dry out enough and that it was causing the damage on the calendula, because calendula is pretty hardy. But I've gotten a ton off of it, and so I don't know. The herbs are unfortunate. The cucumbers are really unfortunate. I'm really sad about some of this stuff. Like, it's heartbreaking because I love cucumbers and I want to be able to eat these things and to grow them, and I'm having a struggle with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and today, while it's cooler today, go ahead and come in and tear out everything that I think is needs to be torn out. Everything else that's gonna stay, I will treat with, I think it was neem oil. And then I will also probably do an essential oil spray. I've got to find my recipe. When I find that, I will tag it on um, Instagram. And then if it works, I'll share it on here. But I think it's going to depend on how far gone some of this stuff is. So I think the stuff that's really infested just needs to go, and then cut my losses there and start over. I will be starting, I think like this week inside, some slicer tomatoes. I think I'm going to do Bonnie Best to replace the black strawberry tomatoes. I want them to get a little more grown up, and then I think by August or so I should be able to put out the new plants, and then hopefully they'll take off in the heat and I'll get some slicers. My plan was not to grow slicers this year. My plan was to just do the cherry tomatoes because I knew I can get the best production out of those. Um, but I totally did not take into account the fact that I want fried green tomatoes, and I can't do fried green tomatoes very well with these little cherry tomatoes. So I do at least want one slicer. With the berries crazy cherry, I'll just let that keep producing, and then just replace the black strawberry. You get a ton of plant on this thing, and there are a lot of tomatoes on it, but it's not, when I'm in a limited space like this, it's not a heavy producer like Berry's Crazy Cherry because it's not a multifloral. So we'll see. I am going to plant more green beans because I just absolutely adore the green beans, and I've been having so much fun snacking on them. And then I will take pictures and keep updating you from here on out on how these go. I'm going to do fish fertilizer today again as well, so I can liquid fertilize it from the top when I water it. And that seems to do really well. And yeah, so I'm excited, and I hope that you are getting ready for fall. When I'm starting my fall seeds, which will be in July, I am going to take you guys along with me and talk to you about what I'm growing, what my plan is for the planters, how I'm going to try things out, when I'm going to start things, because we are going to be growing a ton this fall and winter. So my goal is to try to grow, let's see, Brussels sprouts, mustards, collards, lettuce, kale, carrots, turnips, hopefully some more cilantro, strawberries, big radishes, beets, and really try to maximize this out um, and go from there. I am very happy with what I have gotten so far. I do think that these are totally worth it. I think that I'm not giving them enough space for airflow and for hitting each other. And then I also think that I got something that had spider mites, and that or the leaf blower um, blooming spider mites, which could totally be the case too. So that's kind of what we have going on. And I hope that you will subscribe and join us on this journey. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. I will try to give you an update in the next couple of, so you can see where we are at. I know a lot of people get questionable on what you can grow in these things, And so I like to document the journey, plus showing people what you can do in an apartment. I mean, these could work on a patio just fine, and you can do like your sun loving stuff on top and your shade loving stuff on the bottom if it doesn't get, like if it's a railed patio. Uh, so, I mean, there's so much you can do. So I will keep you guys updated. I have some more fun things headed your way. I'm also getting ready for a visit from my mom, which is exciting. And she should be here for a little while, so we might have her help with a few things. I don't know if she'll go on camera or not. But we're going to go ahead and sign off for the day. You guys have a blessed rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, so I'm going to do a slight change of plans. I was in here pulling stuff. You can tell, like, green beans are gone. Calendula, for the most part, is gone. But when I got to the mint, I was cutting it back, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to cut back the mint like this, and then treat everything that's the little stubs that are left, and really try to get rid of the spider mites off of the container, and then see if they'll pop back up. Same with the lemon balm. I'm really gonna treat the whole container for spider mites, and then maybe I can save these puppies. So stick around for that, and we'll see what happens. But look how bare they are. And there's my pile.